Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our English Learning Podcast. I'm Jennifer, and as always, I'm joined by my wonderful co-host, Elizabeth. How are you today, Elizabeth?
I'm doing very well, thank you. I'm thrilled about today's topic because it's one that I think will resonate with our listeners. The benefits of reading books star. It's not only a powerful tool for improving English skills, but it also opens up a world of knowledge and imagination.
Absolutely. Reading books is one of the best ways to expand your vocabulary, improve comprehension, and gain new perspectives. Today, we'll explore why reading is so beneficial, especially for those who are learning English. We'll also discuss different types of books, how to choose what to read, and some tips for making the most out of your reading time.
Yes, and before we begin, I want to remind our listeners to subscribe to our podcast if you haven't already. By subscribing, you'll never miss an episode, and you'll have access to a variety of topics that can help you on your English learning journey.
And if you find our podcast helpful, please give us a rating, and don't forget to share it with your friends who are also learning English. We truly appreciate your support.
Now, let's dive into today's discussion on the benefits of reading books. Jennifer, why don't we start by talking about why reading is particularly beneficial for English learners?
That's a great place to start. For English learners, reading books can significantly enhance language skills. One of the primary benefits is vocabulary expansion. When you read, you encounter new words in context, which helps you understand not just their meanings, but also how they're used in sentences. This contextual learning is crucial because it helps you remember words and use them correctly in your own conversations.
Exactly. And reading isn't just about learning individual words, it's about understanding how language works. Through books, you're exposed to different sentence structures, grammatical patterns, and idiomatic expressions. This exposure helps you internalize the rhythm and flow of the language, making you a more natural speaker.
Another important benefit is improved comprehension. When you read, you practice following along with longer narratives and understanding the connections between ideas. This is essential for developing strong reading skills, which in turn boosts your listening and speaking abilities.
And let's not forget the cultural aspect. Books often reflect the culture, history, and values of the society in which they were written. By reading in English, you gain insights into the cultural nuances and references that are so important for true fluency. This understanding can also make conversations more meaningful and engaging when you're speaking with native English speakers.
That's such an important point, Elizabeth. Understanding culture through literature helps you connect with the language on a deeper level. Now, let's talk about the different types of books that are particularly good for English learners. What would you recommend?
There are several types of books that can be especially helpful. First, graded readers are a fantastic resource. These books are specifically designed for language learners and are available at different levels of difficulty. They use simplified language and controlled vocabulary, making them perfect for building confidence while reading.
Yes, graded readers are excellent because they allow learners to gradually increase the complexity of the text they read. Another great option is reading young adult YA novels. These books are written for a slightly younger audience, so the language tends to be more accessible, but they still offer rich narratives and interesting themes.
I also recommend reading short stories. Short stories are compact, which makes them less overwhelming than full-length novels, and they often focus on a single idea or theme, making them easier to follow. They're a great way to practice reading in smaller, manageable chunks while still enjoying complete stories.
That's a great suggestion. Short stories are also perfect for busy learners who might not have time to commit to a longer book. Another option is nonfiction books, especially those that align with your interests. Whether it's history, science, or self-improvement, reading about topics you're passionate about can make learning English more enjoyable and motivating.
Absolutely. Key is to choose books that not only challenge you but also engage you. When you're interested in what you're reading, you're more likely to stay motivated and committed to improving your English. Speaking of engagement, Jennifer, what tips would you give our listeners for getting the most out of their reading time?
Great question, Elizabeth. One tip is to keep a vocabulary journal. Whenever you come across a new word or phrase, write it down along with its meaning and an example sentence. Review these words regularly to reinforce your learning. This practice helps with retention and also provides a resource you can refer back to.
That's a very effective strategy. Another tip is to try reading aloud. This might feel a bit awkward at first, but it's an excellent way to improve your pronunciation and fluency. Reading aloud helps you get used to the sounds and rhythm of English, and it also boosts your confidence in speaking.
I agree. Reading aloud is a powerful tool, especially for those who are still developing their speaking skills. Additionally, don't be afraid to reread books or passages. Revisiting a text can help you catch details you might have missed the first time and reinforce the language structures you're learning.
That's true, Jennifer. Rereading can deepen your understanding and solidify your knowledge. Another effective approach is to discuss what you're reading with others. If you have a friend who's also learning English, you can share books and talk about them together. This not only improves your comprehension, but also gives you the opportunity to practice speaking and listening in a more relaxed setting.
And if you don't have a reading partner, consider joining an online book club or discussion forum. There are many communities where people discuss books in English, and participating in these discussions can be incredibly beneficial for improving your language skills. Plus, it's a great way to meet people who share your interests.
Yes, the social aspect of reading can be really rewarding. Now, before we continue, I want to remind our listeners to subscribe to our podcast. If you're enjoying this discussion, subscribing will ensure you never miss an episode. And don't forget to like, share, and comment. We love hearing from you.
Absolutely. Your feedback helps us create better content tailored to your needs, so please let us know what you think. Now, let's talk a bit more about how reading can impact your broader learning journey. Elizabeth, how does reading complement other language learning activities like listening and speaking?
Reading is an integral part of a well-rounded language learning routine. Complements listening because it reinforces the words and phrases you hear. When you read, you see the words you've been listening to in action, which helps you understand their meaning more deeply. Reading also complements speaking because it introduces you to new ways of expressing ideas, which you can then try out in your own conversations.
That's a great point. Reading also helps you develop your critical thinking skills, which are crucial for advanced language learning. As you read, you analyze the text, form opinions, and make connections between ideas, all of which are skills that translate to better speaking and writing abilities.
And let's not forget the emotional and psychological benefits of reading. Books can provide a sense of escape, offer new perspectives, and even reduce stress. When you read in English, you're not just learning a language, you're engaging with stories and ideas that can enrich your life in many ways.
That's so true, Elizabeth. Reading can be a source of inspiration and comfort, and it's wonderful that it also serves as a powerful tool for language learning. Now, let's take a call from one of our listeners who wants to share their thoughts on today's topic. Let's take the call. Hi there, you're on the air with Jennifer and Elizabeth. What's your name, and where are you calling from?
My name is David, and I'm calling from Toronto, Canada. I've been listening to your podcast for a while, and I really enjoy the discussions. I wanted to share my experience with reading books as part of my English learning journey.
It's great to hear from you. Thanks for calling in. We'd love to hear about your experience. How has reading helped you improve your English?
Well, I started reading books in English about a year ago, and it's made a huge difference. I began with graded readers, which were really helpful for building my confidence. As I got more comfortable, I moved on to reading young adult novels, which I really enjoy. One book that had a big impact on me was The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. The language was accessible, but it also challenged me, and I learned a lot of new vocabulary and expressions.
That's fantastic, David. It's great to hear how you progressed from graded readers to more complex novels. The Fault in Our Stars is a wonderful choice. It's emotionally engaging and beautifully written, which makes it a great book for language learners.
Absolutely. It's inspiring to hear how reading has played a key role in your English learning journey. Do you have any tips for our listeners who might be just starting out with reading in English?
Yes, I would say don't rush the process. Start with books that match your current level, and don't be afraid to use a dictionary when you come across words you don't know. Also, try to enjoy the story itself. Don't get too focused on understanding every single word. The more you read, the more you'll improve, and it's important to keep the experience enjoyable.
That's excellent advice, David. Keeping the experience enjoyable is so important because it keeps you motivated to continue learning. Thank you so much for sharing your experience and tips with us.
Thank you, Jennifer and Elizabeth. I've really enjoyed being part of the discussion. Keep up the great work with the podcast.
Thank you, David. We're so glad you called in. Take care.
Bye, David. That was such a wonderful call. It's always inspiring to hear how our listeners are using reading to enhance their English skills.
Yes, David's journey really highlights the importance of starting with the right materials and gradually challenging yourself. It's a reminder that progress takes time, but with consistent effort, reading can significantly improve your language abilities.
Absolutely. And as we begin to wrap up today's episode, let's do a quick recap of the key points we've discussed. We talked about the numerous benefits of reading books for English learners, including vocabulary expansion, improved comprehension, and cultural understanding. We also explored different types of books that are particularly helpful, such as graded readers, young adult novels, and short stories.
We also shared some practical tips for getting the most out of your reading time, like keeping a vocabulary journal, reading aloud, and discussing books with others. And we had the pleasure of hearing from David, who shared his own reading journey and provided some great advice for fellow learners.
Yes, it's been a truly enriching discussion. We hope our listeners feel inspired to pick up a book and start reading in English. Remember, reading is a powerful tool that can open up new worlds of knowledge and imagination while helping you improve your language skills.
And as always, we encourage you to subscribe to our podcast if you haven't already. By subscribing, you'll stay updated on all our future episodes, which are designed to help you on your English learning journey.
And don't forget to like, share, and comment. We love hearing your thoughts and suggestions, so please let us know what topics you'd like us to cover in future episodes.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Keep reading, stay curious, and continue embracing the process of learning English. You're making great progress.
We'll see you in the next episode. Take care and happy reading.
Bye for now.